Shabbat Shalom. Our scripture reading for today is Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 1 through 3. And Moshe, with the elders of Israel, commanded the people, saying, Keep all the commandments which I command you this day. And it shall be on the day when ye shall pass over Jordan unto the land which Yahweh thy Elohim giveth thee, that thou shalt set thee up great stones, and plaster them with plaster. And thou shalt write upon them all the words of this law, when thou art passed over, that thou mayest go in unto the land which Yahweh thy Elohim giveth thee, a land that floweth with milk and honey, as Yahweh Elohim of thy fathers hath promised thee.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Our selection today, going down to the river of Jordan.
Oh, I'm going down to the river of Jordan. I'm going down to the river of Jordan one of these days. I'm going down to the river of Jordan. Going down to the river of Jordan one of these days. Oh, I'm going down to the river of Jordan. I'm going down to the river of Jordan one of these days. I'm going down to the river of Jordan. Going down to the river of Jordan one of these days. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Oh, I'm gonna sit at the welcome table. I'm gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days. I'm gonna sit at the welcome table. Gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days. Through many dangerous toils and snares, I have already come. Was grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. Oh, I'm gonna feast on milk and honey. I'm gonna feast on milk and honey one of these days. I'm gonna feast on milk and honey. Gonna feast on milk and honey one of these days. When we've been there 1,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing Yah's praise than when we first begun. Oh, I'm going down to the river of Jordan. I'm going down to the river of Jordan one of these days. I'm going down to the river of Jordan. Going down to the river of Jordan one of these days. Oh, I'm going down to the river of Jordan. I'm going down to the river of Jordan one of these days. I'm going down to the river of Jordan. Going down to the river of Jordan one of these days. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Oh, I'm gonna sit at the welcome table. I'm gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days. I'm gonna sit at the welcome table. Gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days.
I have already come. Was grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. Oh, I'm gonna feast on milk and
honey. I'm gonna feast on milk and honey one of these days. I'm gonna feast on milk and honey. Gonna feast on milk and honey one of these days.
When we've been there 1,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing Yah's praise than when we first begun. Oh, I'm going down to the river of
Jordan. I'm going down to the river of Jordan one of these days. I'm going down to the river of Jordan. Going down to the river of Jordan one of these days.
Oh, I'm going down to the river of
Jordan. I'm going down to the river of Jordan one of these days. I'm going down to the river of Jordan.
going
Down to the river of Jordan one of these days.
The Oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication, and all uncleanness, or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth, therefore let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you, to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right. And Yahweh said unto Joshua, get thee up. Wherefore lieth you thus upon your faith? Israel has sinned. They have also transgressed my covenant, which I commanded them. For they have even taken of the accursed thing, and have also stolen and disassembled also. And they have put it even among their own stuff. Therefore the children of Israel could not stand before their enemies, but turned their backs before their enemies, because they were accursed. Neither will I be with you anymore, except you destroy the accursed from among you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in Lithonia, Georgia. When we go through the things that Yahweh has given unto us, we understand that things must be put back into the right context of how it was originally delivered. So we're going to deal with the process of the land becoming undefiled. So we're going to deal with undefiling the land, because Yahweh says that it just doesn't, it's not a situation whereby we do something and this is an independent situation between us. When we don't deal with the things that happen around us, then we allow the entire land to become defiled. This makes that neutral. This is why I say, neutral is not a gear. So all the neutral individuals who decide, I don't want to be in any turmoil, so I'm just going to sit back, right? But when you sat back, now the land became defiled. So whereas you thought that those two individuals or those three individuals, whoever those people were, defiled, they were in some foulness, they defiled themselves. But the problem is they still there. So then while you allow yourself to be in neutral, the defiled behavior from them is now spreading all across the land while you stay in neutral. Let's begin today's sermon in Genesis chapter 9, and we're going to read verses 1 through 6.
Verse 1. And Elohim blessed Noah and his sons, and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moves upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand are they delivered. Every moving thing that lives shall be meat for you, even as the green herb have I given you all things. But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall you not eat. And surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the hand of every beast will I require it, and at the hand of man. And at the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man. Whoso shed man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of Elohim made he man.
All right, so now this is then the base understanding given among men. This is not specific to the nation of Israel. This is all men upon the earth. This is why you can go to any place in the world and you're going to find a common thought process among men. This was not given once Yahweh says, you know what? These are my people, and I'm going to set up this nation, and now I'm going to give them these laws. No, there are laws. I ended up reading something one time, and somebody said, why is Genesis even included in the Torah? Because it's not part of the law. They don't know how to read it. We're in chapter 9. This is straight law. See, we have a problem with packaging. This is why people who do marketing, why they make so much money, because they learn the art of packaging the exact same product, but they market it and package it a certain way, and now all of a sudden it's blowing off the shelf. It's the same stuff that was sitting in the back of the warehouse that didn't nobody want, but they packaged it different. So because he didn't put this and carve it in a stone, people say, well, there ain't no law in Genesis. It's law in Genesis right off the rip when he said, remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. This is the seventh day. I sanctified this and set it apart. When he said, I rested, he had already sanctified it. But what we needed to do was wait until it was carved in stone. And then we say, yeah, now it's a law. When he said, don't eat from this tree, that was law. But we waiting, well, you know, he didn't carve it in no stone. Yeah, he said it. Everything he said was a commandment. Everything he said was law. So for somebody to believe that there's no law in Genesis, they don't really understand how to read it, because they're falling into the setup of modern day man. We're looking at the packaging. We're not really looking at what's in it. That's why some of us will go past a really good restaurant because we say, you know what, if it was good, the building would be better than that. You know, if it was good and the lights would be better. We so busy looking at the packaging that we would never go past to see, you know what, man, this stuff is amazing in here. So please don't let this whole thought process of, because it's not formulated in the law, this is law for all man right here. Let's go to Judges chapter 6. You know, it's one of those things that nobody has to go in the Bible to tell you that you did wrong when a man is murdered. There's a whole lot of other things. If you find people, you know, getting in a debate about, and they go to the book and read, no, this is wrong. You ain't had no big, long discussion about somebody saying, no, murder is wrong. Somebody, no, it's not. No, the person who murdered know that they did wrong. Go ahead.
And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of Yahweh, and Yahweh delivered them into the hand of Midian 7 years. And the hand of Midian prevailed against Israel, and because of the Midianites, the children of Israel made them the dens which are in the mountains, and caves and strongholds. And so it was, when Israel had sown, that the Midianite came up, and the Amalekites and the children of the east, even they came up against them. And they encamped against them, and destroyed the increase of the earth, till you come unto Gaza, and left no sustenance for Israel, neither sheep, nor ox, nor ass. For they came up with their cattle and their tents, and they came as grasshoppers for multitude, for both they and their camels were without number. And they entered into the land to destroy it. And Israel was greatly impoverished because of the Midianites, and the children of Israel cried unto Yah.
So you see, you're going to see the same process over and over when Yahweh deals with his people. Verse 1, and the children of Israel did evil in the sight of Yahweh, and Yahweh delivered them into the hand of Midian. You're going to find this process over and over, and then you learn that this is how Yahweh disciplines the children of Israel, the true children of Israel. Go ahead.
And it came to pass, when the children of Israel cried unto Yahweh because of the Midianites, that Yahweh sent a prophet unto the children of Israel, which said unto them, Thus says Yahweh Elohim of Israel, I brought you up from Egypt, and brought you forth out of the house of bondage. And I delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the hand of all that oppressed you, and drave them out from before you, and gave you their land. And I said unto you, I am Yahweh Yireh. Fear not the gods of the Amorites, in whose land you dwell, but you have not obeyed my voice. And there came an angel of Yahweh, and sat under an oak which was in Ophrah, that pertained unto Joash the Abizarite, and his son Gideon threshed wheat by the winepress, to hide it from the Midianites.
Check that out. So we are in such captivity at this point that he has to hide his food. Because they're going to come take it. They're going to basically tax him and say, no, you need to get this to us. Thank you for tending to it. Go ahead.
And the angel of Yahweh appeared unto him and said unto him, Yahweh is with you, you mighty man of valor.
Now, this is how dealing with Yahweh is confusing. He's in the process of hiding wheat. An angel come up and say, you know what? You are blessed, you great mighty man of valor. Hey, hold on, man. I'm hiding wheat, bro. Man, don't tell me how blessed I am. Man, I'm really not trying. Come on, bro. Where you come from? Who you? Come on, man. I ain't never seen you around these parts, bro. Obviously, you don't know me. You don't know what's happening, bro. Bro, I'm hiding wheat, bro. How many mighty men you know hide wheat, bro? Go ahead.
And Gideon said unto him, O my Adonai, if Yahweh be with us, why then is all this befallen us?
In other words, I'm hiding wheat, bro. Go ahead.
And where be all his miracles which our fathers told us of?
Right. He's questioning all of these things because of his present situation. And that's what happens to us daily. We will look at our present situation and we will question all the things. Wait a minute, man. Come on. This is what confuses people. You trying to tell us that we the people of this book? Look at our situation, man. Go ahead.
Saying, did not Yahweh bring us up from Egypt? But now Yahweh has forsaken us and delivered us into the hands of the Midianites. And Yahweh looked upon him and said, Go in this your might, and you shall save Israel from the hand of the Midianites. Have not I sent you? And he said unto him, O my Adonai, wherewith shall I save Israel? Behold, my family is poor in Manasseh, and I am the least in my father's house.
Check it out. So he goes to the least of the least so he can do the greatest. How else is he going to get some glory? See, the person who you believe can do it, you're going to get him the glory. Yeah, you know, big, strong Samson came through there, and man, he came through there and knocked down everything. Yeah, then we're going to be worshiping Samson. But Yahweh said, you know what? Don't give me big, strong Samson. Give me skinny Johnny. Give me skinny Johnny. You know what? You know what? You sit this one out, Samson. Skinny Johnny, come here for a second. Go down there and slap up that whole heel down there. That whole heel. And you go there. Yahweh, I'm the least of my family. Won't you get Big Samson? No, I don't want Big Samson. I want you, Skinny Johnny. Now, Skinny Johnny, go down that hill. There's 40 people down there. Go slap them all up. And make sure you take your pocket protector with you. Go down there and slap them all up. When you come back up that hill, guess what? Yahweh gonna get the glory. Because everybody gonna know, Skinny Johnny ain't never beat up nobody in his whole life. He ain't never fought ever. All we saw was Samson fight. We never seen Skinny Johnny fight. Now, who empowers Skinny Johnny to go down there and beat up 40 mighty men? Now Yahweh gonna get some glory. Go ahead.
And Yahweh said unto him, Surely I will be with you, and you shall smite the Midianites as one man. And he said unto him, If now I have found grace in your sight, then show me a sign that you talketh with me. Depart not thence, I pray you, until I come unto you, and bring forth my present, and set it before you. And he said, I'll tarry until you come again.
Check that out. Depart not hence, I pray you, until I come unto you, and bring forth my present. He understand, look, I can't just come to you any old kind of way. It is amazing how we expect the most from our Elohim, but we will present the least. And we think that when we offer him our crumbs, he's supposed to just come through and move heaven and earth for us. He didn't go looking for this angel. But he understand, you know what? Now that I see that I'm in something greater than what I thought, wait here until I come and offer a present. Go ahead.
And Gideon went in and made ready a kid, and unleavened cakes of an ephah of flour, The flesh he put in a basket, and he put the broth in a pot, and brought it out onto him under the yoke, and presented it.
Now, he has presented this, okay? Now, you need to understand that just because you present something to Yahweh don't mean he's going to accept it. Go ahead.
And the angel of Elohim said unto him, Take the flesh and the unleavened cakes,
I accept that.
and lay them upon this rock,
I accept that.
and pour out the broth.
Pour out that broth. I ain't gonna accept that. Why? They got blood in it. Now, Yahweh just showed us the power of this blood in the previous things. All right? He has said this blood, you know, the life of the particular animal is in the blood. You have to be careful what you do with that. You can't offer that to me, man. You can't offer that like that. It's blood in there. You're going to have to pour that out. See, what we think is everything we offer, Yahweh accepted it. Now think. If you offered something, and because of how you brought it, or because Yahweh know what he gave you, he automatically knocked off some of it. So you say, you know what? I brought $100. Yahweh, no, you ain't bring but 20. No, I promise I brought 100. No, you didn't. Because I know what else you were supposed to do, and you didn't do that. So I automatically took part of that. Now what you gonna do? Part of his offering was automatically not accepted. Automatically. Take that part out. Now that, I'm not gonna let you off. Do we even think like that? You think that because you showed up, that Yahweh accepted everything? You think because you dropped something in the bucket that he accepted everything that you dropped in the bucket? You don't know your Elohim. Go ahead.
No, brother, before we knew any better, that broth in the pot was gravy.
Tell me about it. Boy, that's just sauce.
You said, hey, put that extra sauce in there.
Then we'll come back, you know what I'm saying?
Excuse me, hey, babe, you give me some more of that sauce. Yeah, I want it on the rice.
Go ahead.
And he did so. Then the angel of Yahweh put forth the end of the staff that was in his hand, and touched the flesh and the unleavened cakes. And there rose up fire out of the rock, and consumed the flesh and the unleavened cakes.
Right, because a priest has to consume the offering. So the angel is showing you the heavenly version of that, dealing with Yahweh, and he completely consumes that offering. But he wasn't going to deal with that when they had that blood in it. Go ahead.
Then the angel of Yahweh departed out of his sight. And when Gideon perceived that he was an angel of Yahweh, Gideon said, Alas, O Adonai Yah, for because I've seen an angel of Yahweh face to face. And Yahweh said unto him, Peace be unto you, fear not, you shall not die.
You shall not die. All right, let's go to Leviticus chapter 10. So then we're understanding that there is a certain amount of respect and set apart situation here when it comes down to this blood. Yahweh gave instructions unto man, and we see that the angels obviously had some instruction as well. Because you have certain parts of the offering when it's, shed the blood for atonement, but then when it comes down for him to consume, can't be no blood in that. He's not consuming that. Just like he told us, you can't consume nothing with the blood. Leviticus chapter 10, and we're going to read verses 1 through 20.
And Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, took either of them his censer, and put fire therein, and put incense therein, and offered strange fire before Yahweh, which he commanded them not. And there went out fire from Yahweh, and devoured them, and they died before Yah.
Now, we read last Sabbath, the king that decided he was going to burn incense, and he was cursed white. The priest did it. Now, why was it strange on his part? Because it wasn't his job. He died. Go ahead.
Then Moshe said unto Aaron, This is it that Yahweh spake, saying, I'll be sanctified in them that come near me, and before all the people I'll be glorified. And Aaron held his peace. And Moshe called Mishael and Elzaphan, the sons of Uzziel, the uncle of Aaron, and said unto them, Come near, carry your brethren from before the sanctuary out of the camp. So they went near, and carried them in their coats out of the camp, as Moshe had said. And Moshe said unto Aaron, and unto Eleazar, and unto Ithamar, his sons, Uncover not your heads, neither rend your clothes, lest you die, and lest wrath come upon all the people.
This is why I tell people there are levels to this. See, there's some of us, as soon as our loved one passed, you know, we bawling, we crying, we all over the floor. He said, he told Moshe said unto Aaron and to Eleazar and to Ithamar his sons, Uncover not your head. Because what? Priest got head covering on. He said, don't you do it. Neither rend you your clothes, lest you die. No, you're going to finish your job. Go ahead.
But let your brethren, the whole house of Israel, bewail the burning which Yahweh has kindled.
Let your brothers wail. Let them cry. You better not do it. See, sometimes we don't consider, we might want something and want, to stand at a certain place, but we have to understand what's all connected to that. That means in all your grief, go back up there and do your job. Y'all think I'd be happy every Sabbath? Y'all think I show up here and I ain't went through nothing? I might be done went through something all week. You better go up there and do your job. I've been in this word 20 years. You think I've been happy for 20 years straight? I end up talking to some brothers, and it'll be after class, sometimes a week after. And we'll be conversing, and brother said, wait a minute. So when you said such and such, you were talking to you? Yeah. I got me behind him. But all folks see is their own stuff. So that's your problem. You can't see when I cut me. That means your vision ain't there yet. Keep walking. Go ahead.
And you shall not go out from the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, lest you die, for the anointing oil of Yahweh is upon you. And they did according to the word of Moshe. And Yahweh spake unto Aaron, saying, Do not drink wine nor strong drink, you nor your sons with you, when you go into the tabernacle of the congregation, lest you die. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations. And that you may put difference between holy and unholy, and between unclean and clean.
Right. There's something where we have to learn to draw a line. And this is why rules and regulations have to be set up. Because there are, some of us that don't know how to operate within those boundaries. We take one sip, now we take 32 sips. We don't know the difference between 1 and 30. So for those individuals, you have to say, take none. Go ahead.
Brother, it says when you go into the tabernacle of the congregation, right? Some people will look at that and say, well, I'm doing a work, but I'm not doing it inside the tabernacle. If you're doing a work that's going to be presented by the congregation, it's still Yahweh's work. I don't care if you're doing it at your house. You still shouldn't be under no influence. You're doing work for Yahweh that's going to be presented by the congregation.
Well, you have to consider, brother, if you're entertaining a spirit, which one of them spirits is now whispering unto you as you doing the work. And you say, man, I received something from the spirit. You receive something from a spirit. You might want to be careful right there. And then turn around and say, Yahweh told me. Nah, I don't think that's who told you that. Go ahead.
Verse 10, and that you may put difference between holy and unholy, and between unclean and clean. And that you may teach the children of Israel all the statutes which Yahweh had spoken unto them by the hand of Moshe. And Moshe spake unto Aaron, and unto Eleazar, and unto Ithamar, his sons that were left, Take the meat offering that remains of the offerings of Yahweh made by fire, and eat it without leaven beside the altar, for it is most holy. And you shall eat it in the holy place, because it is your due, and your sons' due, of the sacrifices of Yahweh made by fire, for so I am commanded. And the wave breast and heave shoulder shall you eat in a clean place, you and your sons and your daughters with you, for they be your due, and your sons' due, which are given out of the sacrifices of peace offerings of the children of Israel. The heave shoulder and the wave breast shall they bring with the offerings made by fire of the fat, to wave it for a wave offering before Yahweh. And it shall be yours and your sons with you, by a statute forever, as Yahweh has commanded. And Moshe diligently sought the goat of the sin offering, and behold, it was burnt. And he was angry with Eleazar and Ithamar, the sons of Aaron, which were left alive, saying, Wherefore have you not eaten the sin offering in the holy place, seeing it is most holy? And Elohim has given it you to bear the lawlessness of the congregation, to make atonement for them before Yah.
All right, so they're getting chastised because of this, because they didn't follow all the way through. Go ahead.
Behold, the blood of it was not brought in within the holy place. You should have indeed have eaten it in the holy place, as I commanded. And Aaron said unto Moshe, Behold, this day have they offered their sin offering and their burnt offering before Yahweh, and such things have befallen me. And if I had eaten the sin offering today, should it have been accepted in the sight of Yahweh? And when Moshe heard that, he was content.
Now, he didn't go and ask Moshe. He knew not to make that move. And let me tell you something. When you done watch Yahweh burn up your sons, I want to say you're going to be a little tender when it come down to that. Say, no, I'm not transgressing in none of this. I just had to watch some people carry my sons out. We're not playing like that. We gonna abide by every bit of this from here on out. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 18. But one thing you have to get out of this is Yahweh holds the people accountable who were given the law. This is why to this day you have people who have decided that when you go on a certain level and start talking to them, they want you to stop. No, don't say that. Because they believe that they will be protected under the veil of ignorance. See, I can say I don't know, and in that way I won't be held accountable. Leviticus chapter 18, and we're going to read verses 24 through 30.
Defile not you yourselves in any of these things, for in all these the nations are defiled, which I cast out before you.
All right, so the nations defile themselves in a number of things. But the end result is what comes after that. Go ahead.
And the land is defiled.
Okay, so now because the nations, the individuals defile themselves, now the land is defiled. It doesn't just stay with those people. And that's something that we have to get through our heads, that we believe that we can just be these neutral individuals, allow somebody to do something as long as it don't affect us, we just gonna mind our business. But then they have now defiled your land. Go ahead.
Therefore I do visit the lawlessness thereof upon it, and the land itself vomits out her inhabitants. You shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, and shall not commit any of these abominations, neither any of your own nation, nor any stranger that sojourns among you. For all these abominations have the men of the land done, which were before you, and the land is defiled. That the land spew not you out also.
The land will vomit you out. Go ahead.
When you defile it, as it spewed out the nations that were before you. For whosoever shall commit any of these abominations, even the souls that commit them, shall be cut off from among their people. Therefore shall you keep mine ordinance, that you commit not any of these abominable customs which were committed before you, and that you defile not yourselves therein. I am Yahweh, your Elohim.
So then this defiling goes on two levels. It goes from within us and then it goes to the land. Now let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 21. I'm sorry, Numbers 35. Appreciate it. Numbers 35. And we're going to read verses 29 through 34.
Numbers chapter 35 and verse 29. So these things shall be for a statute of judgment unto you throughout your generations in all your dwellings. Whoso kills any person, the murderer shall be put to death by the mouth of witnesses. But one witness shall not testify against any person to cause him to die.
You know, this very concept is why you can go in Numbers and read something, then go in Deuteronomy and read it. Then you can go somewhere else and read something, and then go 2 other places. Why? He's making sure that there's several other witnesses. Go ahead.
Moreover, you shall take no satisfaction for the life of a murderer, which is guilty of death, but he shall be surely put to death. And you shall take no satisfaction for him that is fled to the city of his refuge, that he should come again to dwell in the land until the death of the priest. So you shall not pollute the land wherein you are, for blood it defiles the land.
Okay, so blood defiles the land. Go ahead.
And the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it.
So now we have a duty at this point. So when the children of Israel went amongst the people that Benjamin protected, and they said, give us these men who have done this thing. And Benjamin said, no, we're not going to give you these men. Boom, the war started. Why? Why were they so intent? Why did that go, to the point that it just got crazy like that? Because this land is going to be defiled as long as they're still in it. And they've done this thing. We going to either straighten this out, you going to give us these men, or we going to have to war with you and we going to go get them ourselves. But this ain't over until we get these men. Simple as that. Go ahead.
Defile not therefore the land which you shall inhabit, wherein I dwell, for I Yahweh dwell among the children of Israel.
All right, so defile not the land. All right, now let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 21.
Deuteronomy chapter 21 and verse 1. If one be found slain in the land which Yahweh your El gives you to possess it, lying in the field, and it be not known who has slain him, then your elders and your judges shall come forth, and they shall measure unto the cities which are round about him that is slain. And it shall be that the city which is next unto the slain man, even the elders of that city shall take an heifer which has not been wrought with, and which has not drawn in the yoke.
Now, so then it automatically becomes the responsibility of the closest city. So then it is going to be looked at, hey man, did this happen near your land? Whose land was this body found? All right. Well, here go the responsible parties. Now take care of this business. Go ahead.
And the elders of that city shall bring down the heifer onto a rough valley, which is neither eared nor sown, and shall strike off the heifer's neck there in the valley. And the priests, the sons of Levi, shall come near. For them Yahweh your Elohim has chosen to minister unto him, and to bless in the name of Yah. And by their word shall every controversy and every stroke be tried. And all the elders of that city that are next unto the slain man shall wash their hands over the heifer that is beheaded in the valley. And they shall answer and say, our hands have not shed this blood, neither have our eyes seen it. Be merciful, O Yahweh, unto your people Israel, whom you have redeemed, and lay not innocent blood unto your people of Israel's charge. and the blood shall be forgiven them.
Wait a minute. So they can't find the individual who shed this blood. So now something has to happen to make atonement for the land. You can't just be neutral and say, well, we don't know what happened. So I mean, it's all good. No, it's not. Something has to happen. Otherwise, the land is still defiled. Go ahead.
So shall you put away the guilt of innocent blood from among you, when you shall do that which is right in the sight of Yah.
So you shall put away the guilt of innocent blood from among you. Innocent blood is among you. Wait a minute. If it's innocent blood, but you're still going to go to judgment for it if you don't deal with it. Yeah, Yahweh, I didn't shed the blood. Yeah, but it was blood shed in your land, all right? All right, well, I'm going to need you to cleanse it. See, it's important that we understand some things because there's a whole lot that we want to do. We want to expand. We want to have all of these things. All right, now what happened? Your land's so big, you ain't had a chance to go down there in a while. Even when people want to have congregations, they want to have congregations all over. They want to have congregations over here, congregations over there. Okay. But you ain't had a chance to go over there and see what happened down there. You do know you're going to face judgment for what happened down there, right? Didn't you put your name on that? See, to us, we think that's expanding because that's what we see on television. That's what we see, the Euro Gentiles doing. So then that's what we want to do. We don't understand. No. You're expanding your judgment area. Saul had to keep going to all those places. He writing letters and going places. Why do you think he's doing all that? Hey, and then he chastised them in these letters. What's happening? Hey, man, I'm going to be held responsible for all this stuff. So he's going all these places. Then he sends somebody else. Hey, go down there and talk to such and such and report back to me and tell me what's happening. What's happening? Y'all ain't going to hold me accountable to that stuff. So you can expand all you want to. Just understand. The switch is getting longer. See? When you got one place, y'all wake up, this switch I'm going to whoop you with when things get out of hand. Oh my goodness, that is nice. You got a nice place now. Yahweh, what you doing with that? Yahweh, what you doing with that? Didn't you get a bigger place? What? Well, yeah. Well, all right, I got a bigger switch. Yeah, you were talking about expanding down there in South Georgia, weren't you? Okay. Just understand. As long as you understand, it's all good. Just understand what you're dealing with. Go ahead.
When you look at this whole situation, so blood's been shed in the land. The land's defiled by the blood. We don't know who shed the blood, so we can't cleanse the land by that blood. Now the priest got to turn around and make a blood covenant that they know nothing about it.
Exactly. Y'all ain't nothing to play with, man. I said, go ahead and expand your land, man. Go get you 100 acres. Go ahead. Just understand. You're going to have to deal with that when something happened in that land. Go ahead. Let's go to
Verse 22.
Jump down to 22. Yeah.
And if a man have committed a sin worthy of death, and he be to be put to death, and you hang him on a tree, his body shall not remain all night upon the tree, but you shall in any wise bury him that day. For he that is hanged is accursed of Elohim.
Now, this is where things get interesting. Go ahead.
That your land be not defiled.
Wait a minute. So first of all, you got this hanging situation, all right? Which we know that our people have had to undergo for many moons. We've done this for generations. This has been the punishment upon us. But then you find this, his body shall not remain all night upon the tree. Now this is where, wait a minute. So the land then becomes defiled by leaving the hanged individual on the tree. Keep reading.
which Yahweh Elohim gives you for an inheritance.
Now, so the land has been defiled, and we think about our people were hanged and left to the point as ornaments on a tree. Okay, and we're gonna get a little deeper into that. You know, this is Yahweh talking about hanging. On one side, this is a really horrible thought, but we have to take that thought process all the way through. Let's go to Numbers chapter 25. Numbers chapter 25, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods, and the people did eat and bowed down to their gods. And Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor, and the anger of Yahweh was kindled against Israel.
Now, this is one of the reasons why we were encouraged to stay amongst our own culture of people. It says, and Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. So, a man marries, but then a lot of times you don't really respect the power of suggestion that this woman is bringing to the table. And now before you really understand, you have already kept a couple of worship practices of another god. She didn't even tell you why she was decorating that other room in red and green. You just thought, these she liked that color around this time. Right. She's keeping another god. And that's happening now. Well, hold on now. That defiling is happening in your land. That defiling is going on in your land. And then you bought the fabric. Right. Go ahead.
It's wonderful how the Spirit works, because just some hours ago, a couple of the brothers here was having conversation about this whole thing about the food dedicated to idols. Brother was saying he was in the break room during their Halloween and picked up some Halloween candy and ate it. And another dude, Christian dude, said, well, how you eating that stuff? So, we're going into the whole dumb aisle. So he's like, should I eat or not eat? I said, well, you're also looking at a weaker brother in front of you. Mm-hmm. So now look what you brought upon yourself. Mm-hmm. So we're explaining to him, if something's already dedicated to the idol, you don't eat of it.
Right. And it was dedicated to the idol by the color. Hey, you saw it with orange and black hair. You saw them cookies with red and green, didn't you? God's got colors. Read.
And Yahweh said unto Moshe, take all the heads of the people and hang them up before Yahweh against the sun, that the fierce anger of Yahweh may be turned away from Israel. And Moshe said unto the judges of Israel, slay you every one his men that were joined unto Baal Peor. And behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman in the sight of Moshe, and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, saw it, he rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand, and he went after the man of Israel into the tent.
Now see, we wouldn't look at this and say, this is one dedicated brother. We'd be like, this brother is out of his mind. Go ahead.
And thrust both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through her belly. So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel.
Now wait a minute. Now while all of this is happening, the children of Israel are dying in large amounts. Now, some people might see a physical thing. Man, it was a cloud came through and everybody was dying. And one brother said, no, I know why the cloud came. Because of him and her. Go ahead.
You know, you're talking about the cursed is the man that hangs on a tree. In verse 4 here, where it says, Yahweh says, take all the heads of the people and hang them.
All of the heads of the people and hang them up before Yahweh against the sun, that the fierce anger of Yahweh may be turned away. But now, once again, now, what you're hearing is how Yahweh punishes his people. So then as you start listening to other individuals, you have to ask yourself, why is the most horrific thing that has happened to them, we can't find it nowhere in this book? Now, I done found captivity. I done found hanging. I find absolutely everything that has happened to you. But I have found absolutely nothing of what has happened to them. Now tell me, that ain't strange. Yahweh said, I tell you the end before the beginning. Ain't that what he said?
Mm-hmm.
So I can read all of the things about what was going to happen to me before it happened. So explain to me, how is it that I can't find any of these other things? I'm not having a conversation of whether or not it wasn't a tumultuous thing, whether or not it was bad or not. I'm not discussing that. I'm discussing why your God didn't say nothing about it. Because, I mean, things that are concerning Israel are very important unto him. I'm just trying to figure out why he ain't mentioned it. Go ahead.
Verse 9. And those that died in the plague were 24,000.
Mm-hmm.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, has turned my anger away from the children of Israel, while he was zealous for my sake among them.
Check it out. They said he was so zealous for the law that he went and took care of this business. Now, how many of Israel would have died if he would have stayed neutral?
You know what, man? This messed up what's going on around here. Man, look at that. Man, that brother he coughed 2 times and died. Look at that. Man, that's messed up. You know what? I'm finna run. Hopefully they don't catch me.
How many more thousands? Go ahead.
That I consume not the children of Israel in my jealousy.
Consume not. He said, had he not taken care of that business, a whole lot more y'all were going to get consumed. Go ahead.
Wherefore say, Behold, I give unto him my covenant of peace, and he shall have it, and his seed after him, even the covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because he was zealous for his Elohim, and made an atonement for the children of Israel.
Now, whoa. Now, what if somebody has some jealousy?
Man, we all going through all this stuff, man. Look at him sitting over there in peace.
Now, look at how he got peace. He got peace by not being neutral. Now, here comes some Johnny come lately who just got in the word, you know what I'm saying, about a year ago, and they think they know something, so then they come in and say, how that priest just sitting there? Somebody paid the price for that. No. The zeal, it says everlasting. Now, the people who know him will know why he has that. What happened in the next 3 generations, though? What happened in the next couple generations, and people got a problem with his grandson?
Hey, man, what's up with him?
No, you don't understand. When your granddaddy was sitting on his John Brown hind parts, his granddaddy got up and took care of that business. You understand? That's why he get to sit there, and you gonna shut your mouth. Right. Go ahead.
Now the name of the Israelite that was slain, even that was slain with the Midianitish woman, was Zimri, the son of Salu, a prince of a chief house among the Semonites. And the name of the Midianitish woman that was slain was Cosbi, the daughter of Zor. He was head over a people and of a chief house in Midian. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Vex the Midianites, and smite them, for they vex you with their wiles, wherewith they have beguiled you in the matter of Peor, and in the matter of Cosbi, the daughter of a prince of Midian, their sister, which was slain in the day of the plague for Peor's sake.
Right. So all of these things then are leading to us defiling the land. And if judgment or atonement is not enacted, then it spreads. That's something that we have to consider right there. Let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 21. See, let everything be established by 2 or 3 witnesses. So you're going to learn how Yahweh does punishment. So then when you look at some other things, you then have to say, you know, that may have been punishment. It just didn't come from Yahweh. When somebody can tell you how horrific and say, you know what, man, that was really bad. But it didn't come from Yahweh. See, he establishes over and over how he's going to punish his people. And we're not talking about an individual situation. We're talking about something that happened to an entire nation of people. I'm telling you how he deals with his people. He's telling you how he deals with his people. So when somebody presents something to you, you can say, man, that was horrific. It just ain't what he do with his people. That's all I'm saying. 2 Samuel 21. And let's start that at verse 1.
Then there was a famine in the days of Dawid 3 years, year after year. And Dawid inquired of Yahweh. And Yahweh answered, it is for Saul and for his bloody house, because he slew the Gibeonites.
All right, so he slew some people that he should not have slain because promises was made with him. And to get Dawid's attention, there's a famine. You have all these people talking about, you know, God talked to me last night. You know, he said, Daryl. I said, what, God? I said, God, that's you? Yeah, Daryl, that's me. What does thou wanteth? Wait a minute. This a man who was after Yahweh's own heart. It says there was a famine in the days of Dawid 3 years, year after year after year. He ain't said nothing to Dawid. Yahweh said, oh, sooner or later he'll figure it out. He ain't hungry enough yet. Sooner or later, them hunger pains, Yahweh, I'm doing everything that we're supposed to do. Yahweh, but why? This keep happening. Oh, finally, I got your attention. See, a lot of things Yahweh just doing to get your attention. You ain't came to him yet. Because see, you still got it. You still got it. Oh, I can handle it. Okay, well, you got it. Let me get out your way, God. Obviously, I mean, you a God. So let me get out your way. But you little G. You little G. See, you little G. See, you baby G. See, he gonna let you handle it though, baby G. Why you got it? All right. Now, when you get tired, baby G, come holler at Big G. All right. You come holler at Big G. All right. But I'm gonna let little G go ahead and deal with it. Now, when you get tired, you know where I'm at. So year after year after year, Dawid inquired. Wait a minute. Yahweh said, okay, now you ready. Yeah, this is for Saul. Now, this is where it gets interesting though. He didn't say this was something you did. Dawid didn't do it. No. But you command the land now. And the evil was done in this land. It was defiled by the guy before you. You got the land, man. So you got to make right his wrongs. Was he my daddy? I don't got to do it. You got the land. Now you got to make right. He shed some blood. Now you gonna go take care of it. Go ahead.
And the king called the Gibeonites and said unto them, now the Gibeonites were not of the children of Israel, but of the remnant of the Amorites. And the children of Israel had sworn unto them, and Saul sought to slay them in his zeal to the children of Israel and Yehuda.
Right. They in his zeal. They ain't done nothing to this man. And Yahweh gonna make them make it right. Go ahead.
Wherefore David said unto the Gibeonites, what shall I do for you?
Now he's got to ask them and listen to what all he asked them. Go ahead.
And wherewith shall I make the atonement?
What? That's a key word. I gotta make atonement because obviously the defiling of the land has come up unto Yahweh, and He's not gonna let us pass until we clear this matter. See, sometimes you get a grace period. So after Saul has done this thing, there was a grace period that they didn't have to pay that bill. But sooner or later, you open the mailbox and they say, you know what, your bill due today. Wait a minute. This bill been accruing interest. Yeah, I know. You owe $15,786.17 tomorrow. What? I can't pay that. Well, somebody got to get to atoning then, huh? Go ahead.
That you may bless the inheritance of Yahweh.
Check that out. Now, I need your blessing because my people did you wrong. Wait a minute. I'm going to need you to take this full circle. Now, I'm going to need you to take this full circle. Now, this is something that he has done to his own people. You don't think he going to do it to thee? You don't think he going to do it to them? And he done told us, you got to go make this right because, all right, the Gibeonites are servants. Okay. So then the ruling party was harsh against the servants. Okay. And then the ruling party has to go ask the servants, what shall I do wherewith I can make atonement? Okay. Okay. So, okay. Now, if he has done that to his people, what do you think he's going to do to the people who are not his people? Okay. Read.
You know, brother, and that's also the detriment of us not knowing who is who. And we got brothers out on the corner mistreating people.
Uh-huh.
So we gonna have to turn around and have to once again make that right.
Oh, yeah. We're going to make that right. I can't wait to make some of it right. I can't wait. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And the Gibeonites said unto him, we will have no silver nor gold of Saul, nor of his house. Neither for us shall you kill any man in Israel. And he said, what you shall say, that will I do for you.
Because I need your blessing. Even though we are the blessed people. Here's another concept that people can't get through their thick heads. Even though I am the blessed people, the blessing will not come upon me until I make this right. You don't get to run that. We the blessed people and we can do whatever the hell we want to do. That don't work. It ain't never worked. So says this book. I don't care you to bless people. You ain't going to get no more of my blessing until you make this right. And I know you didn't do it, but your people did it and you got the land there. So I don't want to hear nothing. Go straighten it out. Go ahead.
And they answered the king, the man that consumed us and that devised against us that we should be destroyed from remaining in any of the coast of Israel, let 7 men of his sons be delivered unto us, and we will hang them up unto Yahweh in Gibeah of Saul.
Now look at that.
Whom Yahweh did choose. And the king said, I'll give them.
And the king said, I will give. So we find this manner of punishment going all throughout. See, we thought hanging started here in the deep south. See, that's our problem. We think, man, these people just wrong. They just hung us, man, and they just did no. See, you got to get the foundation of your Elohim and find out. No, this is what happens to cursed people. See, he ain't cursed nobody black. Here go your curse right here. See, your curse had that thing around your neck. See, we were given the whole curse black thing to throw you off. Oh, here go your curse, right? Let's go to Galatians chapter 3. Galatians chapter 3, and we're going to read verses 1 through 14.
O foolish Galatians, who have bewitched you, that you should not obey the truth, before whose eyes Yahshua the Mashiach has been evidently set forth, crucified among you. This only would I learn of you. Receive you the Spirit by the works of the law, or by the hearing of faith? Are you so foolish? Having begun in the Spirit, are you now made perfect by the flesh? Have you suffered so many things in vain? If it be yet in vain. He therefore that ministers to you the Spirit, and worketh miracles among you, does he it by the works of the law, or by the hearing of faith? Even as Abraham believed Elohim, and it was accounted to him for righteousness.
Now we must understand that belief is accompanied by action. People will stand and proclaim loudly with their voice that they believe. And then when other things are going on, you find out they don't move. No. Abraham believed. Do you know how and this was one of the things that my brother was talking about. Do you understand how difficult it is to just get up and move and leave everything that you've ever known behind? It was accounted unto him to righteousness. He said, get up and go to a place which I shall. What do you mean shall? I mean, I'm going to tell you when you get there. What? Who leaves the house not knowing where they're going? But yet we think we're going to be, that we can claim Father Abraham, but we ain't done nothing. Father Abraham. Yeah. He got up and left everything that he had known, following what Yahweh told him to follow. Go ahead.
Know you therefore that they which are of the faith, the same are the children of Abraham? And the scripture, foreseeing that Elohim would justify the heathen through faith, preached before the gospel unto Abraham, saying, in you shall all nations be blessed. So then they which be of faith are blessed with faithful Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
For as many as are of the works of the law are under the curse.
The works of the law is the animal sacrifice. Go ahead.
For it is written, cursed is everyone that continues not in all things which are written in the book of the law to do them.
Now, this is a correlation that the nations don't want to make. All right? But it's really interesting because it's in the New Testament, and this is all that the Christian nation deals with. But they don't like to make this correlation. Go ahead.
But that no man is justified by the law in the sight of Elohim, it is evident, for the just shall live by faith. And the law is not of faith, but the man that does them shall live in them.
Now, as many times as you've heard some of the things that we've already read, there's another part that you're not going to hear. Because the nations teach by verse and not by chapter. So they may read Galatians 3, verse 8. All right? Or verse 5. They're not going to go through the chapter because sooner or later the chapter is going to cut up one of their other thought processes that they don't need you to be messing with. Keep reading.
Yahshua has redeemed us from the curse of the law by being made a curse for us.
Wait a minute. Yahshua was made a curse? Wait a minute. They say you cursed. Okay, wait a minute. So he became a curse. How was he cursed? Keep reading.
For it is written, cursed is everyone that hangs on a tree.
Wait a minute. They did the same thing to him that they did unto us. They hung him on a tree. So what did he use a rope? He said they hung him on a tree. So then they had to put him on that tree then. Yahweh had already set up the boundary of how you was going to be dealt with by being hung on a tree. That tree had to be involved in his punishment. Interesting. Go ahead.
That the blessing of Abraham might come onto the Gentiles through Yahshua HaMashiach, that we might receive the promises of the Spirit through faith.
All right. Now, one of the things I have, while you guys get ready the next screen here, there was a poem that a sister did, and we did a little compilation, and I recorded it many years ago. And the title of it is "If Trees Could Talk." So could you guys play that for me, please?
If trees could talk, what would they say? A single word, or maybe a phrase? I think they tell of dark nights long ago, when men would wander to and fro, creeping in the night, sometimes covered with sheets, seeking some poor black soul to beat. Oh, the stories they could tell of celebrations held way below their swells. Bright smiles, cameras, children abound to see the newest conquest of their father's midnight rounds. And what hangs high above their heads? A black man, lifeless, swinging in the wind. And what brought about his untimely demise? Why, being born black was his only crime. If trees could talk, a tale of horror, of pain, of grief would come forth. No man knows the number of black souls held from, suspended from, choked by the rope. No other people have been put to such a shame. For us and only us do they openly show their disdain. But our people are lovers. We quickly forget, and in the nation's junk we become entrenched. Yes, we love them now and hate ourselves. You see it in the way we walk, talk, act, and live. If only something could open the door, revive the memories of times not so long ago. Full of pain, yes, but full of hope too, and lessons to learn from and live by. But we forgot. Man, if only trees could talk.
Now, as we think about what we just heard, one of the things that the sister was saying, only us have gone through that. Now you got to ask yourself why. See, a whole lot of things that we think that it is completely of the whole Gentile thought process. Yahweh was directing them even in their anger. They were being directed. When you look at this, it's interesting that we are where we are in this little couple blocks are the oldest trees around here. And I mean, it's if you just look straight down this row of streets, it is just, I mean, those trees are far out, are older than these houses over here. When you look at this tree in the front, I guarantee you there's a lot of black blood at the bottom of those trees. Sometimes I'll ride and you'll see it, especially when you're riding down south. You know, you on your way to Savannah, you're going to see, I seen some strange, I know some folk, sometimes you'll see the tree in the middle of a big field and you'll see the little slave shack there. You know, a whole lot of people died on that tree. That tree was not only just there, that tree was a warning. You get out of line. That tree right outside that shack that you in. We looked at just the branches that were cut on this tree and seen how many people might have hung on that. And then a brother said something to me and said, you know that tree wasn't always that big, right? I said, yeah, you know, it grows. He said, yeah, right. So that means that branch was lower. So one generation hung on that branch, another generation hung on that one, and another generation hung on this one. That's deep. But it also fits the punishment that Yahweh said you would go through. When somebody tells me they're going to debunk Deuteronomy 28 and folks get excited, I'm sorry, you're going to have to debunk the whole Torah if you're going to get rid of us. You're going to have to throw out New Testament, Old Testament. You're going to have to throw out prophets. You're going to have to just all out worship the adversary of the devil. Because we all up in here. Even our punishments are in here. But Yahweh's still going to take care of that business. Let's go to Revelation chapter 14. See, our problem is we don't like to hear about our punishment. We don't like to hear about those things. And the nations know that, and they've played a game on us. Because we don't want to hear about our punishment or the bad things that have happened unto us, we are not being strengthened in who we are in this book. Because we don't want to talk about that. The last thing, look, we won't talk about, slavery. We don't want to have any of those discussions. It becomes amazing to us when we go through the book and we say, you mean the true Israelites was slaves? Wow, that's interesting. I remember the first time I heard that, I was like, wow, wait a minute. You mean the true children of Israel were slaves? Wow, they might understand what we have gone through. Right. Revelation chapter 14, and let's read verses 14 through 20.
And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, Thrust in your sickle, and reap, for the time is come for you to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar, which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, Thrust in your sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe.
Right. So the grapes have to be fully ripe before you go to harvest. So if he's bringing in this sharp sickle among grapes, we know that he's talking about shedding a whole lot of blood. But the land can only be cleansed by shedding the blood of he who defiled it. Go ahead.
And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of Elohim. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even onto the horses' bridles, by the space of 1,600 furlongs.
That's a whole lot of blood. But when you talk about that it has to cleanse the earth, a whole lot of blood has to be shed. So a lot of things are setting the groundwork for the judgment that has to happen. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 39. Ezekiel 39, and we're going to start that at verse 12.
And 7 months shall the house of Israel be burying of them, that they may cleanse the land. Yea, all the people of the land shall bury them, and it shall be to them a renown the day that I shall be glorified, says the Adonai Yah. And they shall sever out men of continual employment, passing through the land to bury with the passengers those that remain upon the face of the earth, to cleanse it. After the end of 7 months shall they search. And the passengers that pass through the land, when they see a man's bone, then shall he set up a sign by it, till the buriers have buried it in the valley of Hamon Gog. And also the name of the city shall be Hamona. Thus shall they cleanse the land.
So Yahweh is openly listing and telling us that there shall be a serious cleansing that has to be done in this land that we have deemed perpetually holy. This is what we do. You know, this is why people are able to get perpetual sympathy, because we have labeled the land perpetually holy. Yahweh said when things go wrong, it defiles it. But we have bought into the claim that it's perpetually holy. No matter what happens in it, people are still talking about, I'm finna go visit the Holy Land. You don't understand my God at all. It might be the holiest thing have happened there. Once you defile it, some blood got to be shed to make it right. Oh, and it has to be the right blood. Can't just go find anybody. You know what? I'm gonna kill Skinny Johnny. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do that. No, that's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. That's the wrong blood. It's got to be the right blood. Go ahead.
And you, son of man, thus says the Adonai Yahweh, speak unto every feathered fowl and to every beast of the field, assemble yourselves and come, gather yourselves on every side to my sacrifice that I do sacrifice for you, even a great sacrifice upon the mountains of Israel, that you may eat flesh and drink blood.
He said, you know what? I'm going to put the bird in my stead. Normally, those offerings, after the blood is shed, the offering has to be consumed by the priest. When the angels come in the presence of Yahweh, that's why they completely burn it, so they completely consume it. The fire represents Yahweh. Said, but you know what? Come, you birds. It's going to be a feast. It's going to be a great sacrifice. Go ahead.
You shall eat the flesh of the mighty and drink the blood of the princes of the earth.
Wait a minute. What happens? Blood must be shed to make atonement for sin. Blood has to be shed. This is a great amount of blood. And look here, man. We can't bear all these people. So come on, birds. Have your way at it. But wait a minute. What do you think happened to us when we was dangling on those trees? What do you think happened? Eventually the birds came. Then the birds started picking at the flesh of the men and women hanging on the trees. Wait a minute. He said, no, it's your turn. It's your turn. Go ahead.
Of rams, of lambs, and of goats, of bullocks, all of them fatlings of Bashan. And you shall eat fat till you be full, and drink blood till you be drunken, of my sacrifice which I have sacrificed for you. Thus shall you be filled at my table with horses and chariots, with the mighty men.
With mighty men. Go ahead.
And with all men of war, says the Adonai Yah. And I'll set my glory among the heathen, and all the heathen shall see my judgment that I have executed, and my hand that I have laid upon them.
Now, they don't know that they're being invited to a sacrifice. And they sure don't know that they was being sacrificed. Go ahead.
So the house of Israel shall know that I am Yahweh their Elohim from that day and forward.
Oh, they're going to know. They're going to realize. Go ahead.
And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity.
Wait a minute, captivity. Wait a minute. After all of this stuff, he's still talking about captivity. He's talking about restoring the land. He's talking about cleansing the land. He's still talking about captivity. He hasn't mentioned any other event. So did Yahweh not know him? Or that just can't be the people he's talking about? Because he's talking about removing captivity. He's talking about putting his people back in the land. Well, wait a minute. How you putting them back if they already there? And why I don't find no captivity from the people who are already there? So we can't go back and say, well, we were supposed to have been slaves in Egypt. No. You're going to have to give me something better than that. Because he's talking about current captivity. He's talking about currently removing these people from the places where they got sent as captives and never were returned. People said, well, slavery is over. Well, if that's the case, they were supposed to be sent back home. And we found that what the nations did was just revamp slavery. They turned it into the prison industrial complex. Prison is the new slavery. They invented it at the same time that they so-called abolished slavery. They created prison and then turned us against each other. Well, once we make it, we say, surely that brother could have did it. I did it. I went to college. I got a degree. That brother could have done it too. See, he should have got his life together. He deserved to go to prison. That's how we turn against one another. Go ahead.
And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their lawlessness, because they trespassed against me. Therefore hid I my face from them, and gave them into the hand of their enemies. So fell they all by the sword.
Right. This is some real straight stuff that the heathen is going to understand. You do understand the only reason you was able to beat them, right? Because I hid my face from them. You do understand that, right? Like everything they get in, they excel. I mean, seriously, you know, I let them into classical music. They take it over. You know what I'm saying? I like that. You put them into anything. This is what they do. Okay. You do understand the only reason you was able to beat them, right? Because I hid my face from you. You getting this now, right? They said, I took their power away from them. I know you think Michael Jordan is amazing, but I have held them back. You know, they all can jump from the free throw line, right? You know, I held them back. He said, they going to realize that. How they going to realize that? Because he going to give it back. He said, man, what happened? I don't know, man. 19 Michael Jordans came down here, man. They came down here, man. I don't know. It looked like they were dribbling balls, but it was heads. You know what I'm saying? They were taking heads off, man, and jumping all the way across the river. I don't know what happened, man. It looked like crows. Right. How he gonna let them know when he get that power back? He took that power. Then they gonna realize we stepped in while they were getting punished. Otherwise, none of this would have been available. What happened? He removed the hedge. But the whole earth gonna realize when he put it back. The same things that they have been able to do for thousands of years, they're not going to be able to do anymore. And you know, what's worse to a people is when they're not able to do something that they have been able to do very easily. It hurts. Because they have gotten accustomed to being able to treat you and deal with you on a certain level. And when that changes, the people are going to have some serious issues with changing how they deal with you. Go ahead.
Verse 24. According to their uncleanness and according to their transgressions have I done unto them, and hid my face from them. Therefore, thus says the Adonai, now will I bring again the captivity of Yaakov.
That means cause to cease. I will cause this captivity of Yaakov to cease. Not a couple of tribes who said that they are Israel who reside in the land. When he says Yaakov, he's talking about all 12. There's a reason why he uses certain words. He didn't say Judah. Why? Because he ain't just talking about one tribe. He ain't just say Benjamin. He ain't just say Levi. He said Yaakov for a reason. No, that's all 12. I'm bringing all of them back. That's why it should sit very strange when someone says that they are of the tribes of Israel, but they don't want to hear anything about no lost tribes. So you're really not interested in what the Torah or the Tanakh says. Interesting. Go ahead.
And have mercy upon the whole house of Israel.
The whole house. I'm not just going to have mercy on a few tribes. Go ahead.
and will be jealous for my holy name. After that they have borne their shame, and all their trespasses whereby they have trespassed against me, when they dwelt safely in their land, and none made them afraid. When I have brought them again from the people, and gathered them out of their enemies' lands, and am sanctified in them in the sight of many nations, then shall they know that I am Yahweh their El, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathens. But I have gathered them onto their own land, and have left none of them any more there. Neither will I hide my face any more from them, for I have poured out my spirit upon the house of Israel, says the Adonai Yah.
Now, you know, this whole concept, neither will I hide my face anymore from them. This is the whole thing that stops parents from being parents. He says, you know, it's one of the things that we're going to read. It says, in all of their afflictions, I was afflicted. This is why we can't really discipline, you know, our children. He says, I had to hide my face from you. I don't want to see you hurt like that, but I know it's going to make you better. See, I thank Yahweh that he is, you know, the ultimate father. And this is something that we all have to learn, because we all got some issues that we don't want to deal with. Let me tell you something. I praise Yahweh. There's certain things that I look back in my past that I would have absolutely given money for if I could have not gone through it at that time. Then I look back and I say, thank you, Yahweh. See, we want to thank Yahweh when we get a house. We want to thank Yahweh when we get that new car. But it's hard for us to say, you know what, Yahweh, my best friend betrayed me. I'm so hurt. Thank you. What? No. See, there was a series of events that caused people to actually show themselves. Now, what happened if those events didn't take place? Then those people would have never showed themselves. Then you would still be sitting hand in hand with an enemy of yours, calling him your friend. That's the kind of love that Yahweh has for his children. That he said, look, son, I don't want to do this to you, but I got it. This going to make you better. It's going to make you a better man. It's going to make you a better husband. It's going to make you a better father. I don't want to do this to you, but I got to do this. This going to make you better. That's something that when you look at why Yahweh says, I hid my face. Oh, it's hard. I had to learn that with my kids. Sometimes you got to punish them. You got to walk out the room. I can't look at you right now. Because now I'm already negotiating taking away the punishment. Yahweh said, I don't have that problem. I'm not going to look at you. But when Yahweh punished, he dropped the mic. He ain't in the room no more. You get out of Yahweh. Yahweh. Oh, he gone. He gone. So he not going to fall the way we fall. You can blink your eyes at him. You can get all big-eyed if you want. You can do all that all you want. It ain't going to work. He not in there. He done left. He got enough love for you to know, I'm not going to let you persuade me. I love you so much. But I'm not going to let you persuade me, because if I do, I'm ultimately hurting you. I'm not helping you. So I got to give you this harsh thing, and then I got to walk out. Go ahead, brother. You finish that?
Yes.
Let's go to Revelation chapter 16. And one of the things that we have to consider, if a whole lot of innocent blood is being shed at this point, and a lot more blood is going to have to be shed to make atonement for that. But then sometimes people are getting judged in levels from their previous actions. So we might look at one situation and you said, you know, man, these people are doing this. But then you go back into those other individuals' history and you find some other things. Revelation 16, and let's read verses 1 through 6.
And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, Go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of Elohim upon the earth. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image.
You know, this is, one of the reasons why you're not going to find this book read on Sunday morning, because it goes completely against the prosperity doctrine that, God ain't angry. Matter of fact, that is one of the things that I've heard constantly among the for-profit teachers. God ain't angry with you. Vials of wrath sounds like anger. Matter of fact, wrath means furious anger. Okay? So that lie that we're being told on Sunday morning is what helps us drop more money into the pot so that we can feel good about ourselves. But what he's talking about is straight judgment. This is also why people have to constantly hear how they're going to be in heaven. So even if somebody reads this, well, you know what I think? God, I'm not going to be there. I'll be in heaven looking down saying, look at what they're doing. Look at what they're doing. It's going to really hurt some people's feelings when they realize that they're not floating. And let me tell you something. Those pastors who have all them jets, they're going to have to use them. They're going to have to use them. Let me tell you something. When you have some people who you've been milking for hundreds of years and they've been giving all this money, they done let you have a private jet and all of that, when they realize that that stuff ain't true, I hope you got a lot of jet fuel. Let me tell you something. Oh, they coming. Them same people who were hitting the tambourine and they was dancing. Yeah, this time it's gonna be an AK-47. Yeah, won't he do it? Oh, they come. They come. Don't let all that singing and dancing fool you. You about to see some real gangster movement when they realize that they've been duped. Go ahead.
And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea, and it became as the blood of a dead man, and every living soul died in the sea. And the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of waters, and they became blood. And I heard the angel of the waters say, You are righteous, O Adonai, which art and was and shall be, because you have judged thus. For they have shed the blood of the saints and prophets.
Now, they don't think they shed the blood of the saints. See? They thought that they were sending money to the saints and punishing the heathen. Go ahead.
And you have given them blood to drink, for they are worthy.
They are worthy to drink blood. And let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 63. He said they have shed blood and he has given them blood to drink. So sometimes you might look at something and say, man, this is wrong. But you ain't backed up far enough into their history to figure out what all they did. We looked at the things during slavery. And we talk about about how harsh it was. But we ain't backed up and see what we did. Isaiah chapter 63. And we're going to read verses 1 through 19.
Who is this that comes from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore are you red in your apparel, and your garments like him that treads in the wine fat?
Because he's going to shed so much blood. And if he's talking about Edom, he's talking about Edomites. He's talking about shedding this blood that it says white linen is the righteousness of saints. He said his linen ain't going to be white no more. Now, why is it these individuals that he's talking about. Go ahead.
I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I'll tread them in mine anger.
Anger.
And
Once again, anger. God ain't angry with you. Anger. Go ahead.
and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I'll stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. And I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold. Therefore mine own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury it upheld me. And I'll tread down the people in mine anger, and make them drunk in my fury, and I'll bring down their strength to the earth. I will mention the loving kindness of Yahweh and the praises of Yahweh, according to all that Yahweh has bestowed on us, and the great goodness toward the house of Israel, which he has bestowed on them according to his mercies, and according to the multitude of his loving kindnesses. For he said, surely they are my people, children that will not lie. So he was their Savior. In all their affliction, he was afflicted.
In all their affliction, he was afflicted. And we have to understand that being in charge of something, that's what that is. This is why we can't hold to punish our kids, because we're not ready to punish ourselves. You tell a kid no TV, that means you can't watch none either.
Well, I'm just gonna watch a little bit. Just sit down and shut up. Don't say nothing.
But then that ain't not now. You just basically told them that you are nothing to respect. You just told them, you don't respect me. I know I'm supposed to be the head of the house, but I don't be doing that. That you might as well go ahead and put that down. That's exactly what you said. That's how the kid is taking it, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm finna play you. What make you think how we got all off with Yahweh? Yahweh gave us laws, statutes, and judgments. Then he gave us the land. So, oh, man, well, he done already gave us the land. we ain't gonna let him. We ain't letting him. So then we did wrong. Yahweh said, hey, stop doing wrong. He ain't did nothing. He ain't gonna do nothing. Yahweh soft. Yahweh, he done lost his godness. Yeah, he's supposed to be all, he's somewhere in the Milky Way. He done got lost. He don't even know where we at. Don't worry about none of that. We in the land. We got it now. What is he gonna do? All right, now y'all stop. Ain't nobody letting him. Then when he reacts, now we want to go back and remember the covenant. Oh, Yahweh, remember you? Wait a minute, you remember that time you said, No, you remember, don't you? You remember? Let me read it to you. No. No, you're going to do every bit of this right here. And because I love you so much, I got to turn the other way. Because I don't want to look at what's about to happen. But you're going to respect me when it's done. Then shall they know that I am their God. Then shall they know. Then they're going to respect me. Then when I say something, they're going to move. But I'm going to let these heathen go ahead and finish doing all that they're going to do to them. Then they're going to, when I say, hey, stop, they're not going to talk back.
What would you want me to stop for? Where am I going? Why you want me to do that?
No. You're going to learn. See, that's when you're going to learn. I'm going to explain to you why I want you to do something. Stop. Red light. Yahweh, you ain't said move again. I'm kind of stuck in. Oh, yeah, we're going to be totally different then. He said, then you're going to know. But I'm going to let this punishment go all the way out. Then I ain't going to have no more problems. See, this is why we have problems. See, every time we lessen something, we lose respect. I try to tell, young parents, every word you say after no lessens the no, right? Yes. No, we got to do this. Yeah, I'm going to get him. About the third time he's going to agree. What? Because all them words that you said after no, basically that said, that can be negotiated with. He can be negotiated with. Why? Because of all them other words that he said after no. If he had just said no. Yeah, but that. Uh-oh. Now you realize that no is a subject, it's a predicate, it's a noun, it's a verb, it's an action verb. It's everything you need. It's in there. Yahweh said, then you gonna know. Remember what Job said? He said, oh, no. Now I know. He said, I heard of all the greatness of Yahweh, and he was a believer so much. Yahweh said, oh, no. He's a believer. But what happened when all that was done? Oh, no. Now I know. Can't nobody tell me nothing about Yahweh, my Elohim. Now. See, there's a point that you got to go through enough to where you know. There's some of y'all that believe, but you don't know. See, you believe, but you don't know. But you go and look at some of these people that done had some grimy time. You go and talk to some people who done had to get up off that operating table. They get up and they said, oh, now I know. I thought I knew before, but now I know. Yahweh said, then you gonna know. So the question is, how much does it take to reach you? Go ahead, brother.
And the angel of his presence saved them. In his love and in his pity, he redeemed them. And he bared them and carried them all the days of old. But they rebelled and vexed his Holy Spirit. Therefore he was turned to be their enemy, and he fought against them.
And all he got to do is step out of the way, because understand, there's a whole lot of people that's got problems with you already. They don't like that Yahweh has given you this. They don't like that Yahweh has established you. They don't like that he has put his favor on you. He don't have to turn around and slap you. He just step out of the way. The people who have beholden all of the gifts that he's given you, they gonna slap you. The only reason they hadn't slapped you because that hedge was round about you. They've been pretending to be your friends the whole time. But as soon as he moved that hedge, they right in your grill. He ain't gonna find nobody to deal with you. You hanging with the people who gonna deal with you. Read, priest.
Then he remembered the days of old, Moshe and his people, saying, where is he that brought them up out of the sea with the shepherd of his flock? Where is he that put his Holy Spirit within him? That led them by the right hand of Moshe with his glorious arm, dividing the water before them, to make himself an everlasting name. That led them through the deep, as an horse in the wilderness, that they should not stumble. As a beast goes down into the valley, the Spirit of Yahweh caused him to rest. So did you lead your people to make yourself a glorious name. Look down from heaven and behold from the habitation of your holiness and of your glory. Where is your zeal and your strength, the sounding of your bowels and of your mercies toward me? Are they restrained? Doubtless you are our father, though Abraham be ignorant of us, and Israel acknowledge us not. Though, O Yahweh, you, O Yahweh, are our Father, our Redeemer. Your name is from everlasting. O Yahweh, why have you made us to err from your ways and harden our heart from your fear?
Right. See, sometimes you can walk in something so long that he turn you over unto it. He said, you know what? I done tried to reach you a couple times. Now I'm going to go ahead and just let you go out there. And the longer we stay out there, the harder our hearts get. And it's harder to then reach us. Go ahead.
Return for your servant's sake the tribes of your inheritance. The people of your holiness have possessed it but a little while.
Wait a minute. No, we gotta back up. We gotta back up. Return for your servant's sake the tribes of your inheritance. He's talking about the land. Then he says, the people of your holiness have possessed it but a little while. Wait a minute. So wait a minute, wait a minute. He said, your people ain't had it but a little while. Well, who the hell got it? Go ahead.
Our adversaries have trodden down your sanctuary.
Whoa, wait a minute. Now, he said, yeah, now your people only had the Holy Land for a little while, but our enemies have trodden down your sanctuary. Wait a minute. Now, who are these people? Because he's talking about two groups of people. Who are these people? Now, no matter who you say one is, you got to find the other. Because he said, your people have possessed it for a little while, and then the enemy has trodden down your sanctuary. Wait a minute. First of all, then, there has to be two people who at least profane the same God. You know, that kind of takes the Palestinian out of that. He wouldn't go to the sanctuary of Elohim because he's a Muslim. So we have presented a very interesting issue. Who is he talking about? Because we got to find two people. We got to find some people who have been scattered all over the earth, who have not been able to possess his land. And then we have to find somebody who has possessed his land and has trodden down his sanctuary. Interesting. So even if the people in the land say that they are the ones, who are the other people who have possessed it longer and trodden it down if they are the real ones? See, when you start examining a lie, this is where people start getting angry with you, when you start breaking down. Well, wait a minute. I watched an interview where a brother said, you said that it was proven that that they was running a military operation out of the hospital. He said, show me, where's your proof? The brother said, well, you Holocaust deniers. He said, wait a minute. Because I asked you to show me proof that there was a military operation going on in the hospital, you now call me a Holocaust denier? You can see it in the individual's face. They was busted. So that when they get busted, you know what words you're about to hear. So get ready. So, yeah, you learning some things, but get ready. When you get ready to say what you know, get ready to hear what you know you were going to hear. Go ahead.
We are yours. You never bear rule over them.
You never bear rule over them. Wait a minute. He let other people come in the land. They were shown how to operate in the land. Just enough to keep it. But he didn't bear rule over them. They were able to do enough for Yahweh, but still worship other gods. Things that he would not let his children do. Go ahead.
They were not called by your name.
They were not called by your name. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.